Coming up on today's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast, they're going streaking. The Raiders had their first win streak of the 2023 season. We'll talk about it. They got the 21-17 victory over the Patriots. All that's coming up on Monday's edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast, October 16th, 2023.
Just win. Just win. Just win. Just win.
The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won. And won. And won. And won. And won.
And welcome in, Raider Nation, to another edition of the Locked On Raiders podcast. Thank you so much for making the show your first listen of the day. Make sure you subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast to get the latest edition of the show as soon as it becomes available. Of course, if you're checking us out on YouTube, thank you. We definitely appreciate you, and we appreciate my man Ari, who has us up on YouTube each and every day. Also, I want to give a special shout out to everyone that I had a chance to meet at Allegiant Stadium. It was awesome, right? So many people came up to the Coors Light landing right next to the Al Davis torch and talked about the podcast, shook my hand, told me when they listened to the podcast, where they listened to the podcast, why they listened to the podcast. It was great. So I don't ever want you to think that I take that for granted. So I definitely appreciate you. It's probably one of my favorite parts of the day, being at the games, is seeing Raider Nation come in that listen to the show, and we can, share some conversations about the podcast or just whatever in general. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Of course, always check out my man Ari on Twitter. I always appreciate him. At Ari Produces. He does a great job getting us up on YouTube. And you can hit me up on Twitter as well, at your boy Q254. And this Locked On Raider podcast voicemail line is 707-654-4693. No calls or texts in today's show. We talked to a lot of people in the Raiders locker room following the game, so I want to get as much locker room sound in as possible. Plus, we got to hand out game balls. So in segment number 2 and 3, you're going to get game balls, locker room sound, and more locker room sound in segment number 3. So we're going to kind of combine those two on the show today. Here in segment number 1, just kind of give you the news and notes and really how the Raiders came about with the 21-17 victory over the Patriots, improving their overall record to 3-3 and their first win streak of the 2023 season. Before we get to that, though, I do want to tell you about the title sponsor, which is Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I'll tell you more about them later on in the show, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. The good news, the Raiders get the 21-17 victory over the Patriots. More good news, they improve their overall record to 3-3, right? They're in second place right now in the AFC West. The Chargers are going to play this evening against the Dallas Cowboys. Monday Night Football action. I got the Cowboys winning that game. I think that they'll bounce back after the beatdown that they took to the 49ers by the 49ers, but we'll see. Either way, the Raiders are right in the thick of things now. They're right there in the mix. They have a chance. Jacoby Myers said that in the Raiders locker room following the game. We have a chance. Okay, good. Now, the bad news, Jimmy G went out. Jimmy G went out at halftime with a bad back. Who knows what the extent of the injury is? He went to the hospital in an ambulance to get evaluated, and nobody knows the extent of that injury as of yet. Now, we do meet with head coach Josh McDaniels this morning around 10:30, so maybe he'll have an update for us, but it just doesn't seem very good. Before he went out, he was 14 for 22, 162 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Where did that interception come from? A really bad pass that Jimmy had. He threw it behind Davante Adams. He reached back to go get it, grabbed it with his hands because he has good hands. And when he whipped around, Jabril Peppers of the Patriots drilled him. And, I mean, really drilled him. The ball pops up in the air. It gets intercepted. Davante goes down. He stays down. So the Patriots have the ball. Davante's down, and he comes off the field, goes to the blue tent. And to his credit, the Raiders defense was able to force a 3-and-out. They get the ball back. And Davante goes back out there. So he's battling, but really bad pass from Jimmy Garoppolo set up Davante for a failure. And it feels like every game this season so far, there's been a bad ball like that, right? A medicine ball, right? One of those where you put it up there and then all of a sudden the wide receiver, and I think 9 times out of 10 has been Davante Adams, is getting drilled. Jimmy's got to cut that out, or any other quarterback who's out there. If it's Brian Hoyer or if it's Aiden O'Connell, They can't keep setting their wide receivers up for failure. They just can't. So, again, Jimmy G, 14 for 22, 162 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The touchdown went to Jacoby Myers, which was nice for him since he was playing against his former team. And we all remember what Jacoby Myers did last year when the Patriots played the Raiders and he was a member of New England. That wasn't a good memory. At least he got a good memory from Sunday as he picked up a touchdown and helped the Raiders win 21-17 over New England. Brian Hoyer played the second half, 6 for 10, 102 yards. He did have a deep ball to Trey Tucker, went for 48 yards. That was nice to see. So that was the positive. And the other good positive was Brian Hoyer, as a veteran, came into the game and didn't panic, right? He knew the situation. He knew what the assignment was, and he completed the assignment. Now, he didn't have any touchdowns. He struggled in the red zone just like the Raiders struggled in the red zone. 1 out of 6 times to the red zone, they got a touchdown. That's not going to win you a whole lot of games, but it helped them win on Sunday, right? So we'll talk about the red zone and struggles as well a little bit later. But Brian Hoyer didn't sink the ship, and that's what his job is. Again, that's what the assignment is. So we'll see if Jimmy G is not able to go this week. Will it be Will it be Brian? Will it be Aiden O'Connell? Last time Josh McDaniels told us about the backup quarterback situation and what Brian Hoyer brings to the table is he can go into the game if he has to, and they feel very comfortable with him there. Now, it's a little bit different when they have a week to let the guy prepare. So maybe Aiden O'Connell would be the guy that gets the start if Jimmy G can't go against the Bears, or maybe it's Brian Hoyer. Again, I don't think that the Raiders offense missed a beat. There wasn't a whole lot to the offense anyway. I'm not trying to sound negative after a victory because you don't complain and you don't not complain. You don't apologize for victories, but I mean, the Raiders offense has been on the struggle bus. I picked them to get 21 points. I didn't think they were going to get multiple field goals, a safety, and 1 touchdown, right? I mean, they got to 21 points the hard way, but they still got to 21 points. Michael Mayer, rookie tight end, 5 catches, 75 yards on 6 targets. He's getting more comfortable in this Raiders offense. You can just tell he's getting more comfortable being a pro in general, right? He even sounds like it when you talk to him. He even sounds a lot more comfortable in that role. So he had a good game. Again, 5 catches, 75 yards. Jacoby Myers, I mentioned him before, 5 catches, 61 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Adams, I mentioned him getting blown up by Jabril Peppers. Well, he got blown up by Peppers and then didn't have a good game on top of that. 2 catches for 29 yards on 5 targets. They just never really got the ball to Devontae. They didn't really target him too much. There was a shot that Brian Hoyer took to him in the red zone that really wasn't a legit shot. He threw it out of bounds. So it wasn't even, to me, looking at it from the press box, I was like, yeah, that wasn't even really a target. But he was in the vicinity, so they gave him a target for that. But Devontae was not in a good mood. Normally, and I say we talked to a lot of people a lot of players in the locker room. He was not one of them. He was gone, and he always talks after the game. He has no problem doing that. But before we ever got into the locker room, he was already gone. And one member of the media said that he left without even showering, which is Devontae Adams like. He actually talks bad about people that don't shower and they just get dressed and take off. But he was gone so fast, there's a good chance that maybe he didn't take a shower. So we'll ask Coach McDaniels about that later on this morning in the Intermountain Health Performance Center when we meet with him around 10:30. Josh Jacobs, 25 carries, 77 yards, 2 catches for 16 yards. Again, not a 100-yard day. Didn't think he had to have a 100-yard day. Love that they stayed committed to the run. Just would like to see them get a little bit more than 3.1 yards per carry, right? I would like to see them get closer to 4 yards or 4 yards, 4.1, something like that. Even if it's going to be in the 3s, 3.9, something around there. But 3.1, that's definitely on the struggle bus. But they still stay committed, so I can respect that. 25 carries, and, of course, they're going to use the run game to try to, salt away the game. And, look, they had a lot of possession. They had a lot of time of possession. A lot of their drives were very long, but the problem is a lot of their drives resulted in field goals as opposed to touchdowns, and that's where the biggest problem comes in. But that was the offense. The defense, again, as I've been mentioning for a while now, the defense is the strength of the team. The defense gave the Raiders an opportunity to really blow this game out and blow the Patriots out, especially when early in the game when the Patriots couldn't do anything. The Raiders defense forced three and outs, right? That's you got to tip the cap. And again, I know the Patriots offense is not, the world beaters. They're not some, high wire act or whatever like that, a high octane offense, but it's an NFL offense. And if you're holding them to 3 and outs and forcing them to punt you the ball, you've got to take advantage of what the defense is giving you. And the Raiders weren't able to do that. They did get 4 sacks on the game, including the game winner. Max Crosby and Bilal Nichols, they combined on a safety on Mac Jones, and that's what gave the Raiders their 21 points, the final 2 points to get so they can reach 21. But 4 sacks on the day. Amik Robertson had a sack. Adam Butler, John Jenkins, they had sacks. And I like the fact that you're starting to see pressure from the interior. Bilal Nichols, Adam Butler, John Jenkins, all defensive tackles. That is a positive sign. And the Raiders aren't where they need to be as far as, sacks, and they're not where they need to be as far as turnovers, but they're doing better. Trayvon Merrick had another interception, his second on the season, and that was due to pressure, right? Mac Jones was getting pressure on him. He threw a bad ball across his body. You're not supposed to do that, and he just missed badly, and Trayvon Merrick was there to make the play. And even though it was one of those that just went right to him, he still had to make the play, and that he did. So now if you're keeping track at home like I am, 13 sacks for the team and 5 interceptions. Now, my prediction for them for sacks and turnovers was 40 sacks and 20 interceptions. So they're not on pace to get that, but I mean, having 5 sacks in 6 games, or five interceptions, I should say, in 6 games is way better than what they had last year, 6 interceptions in 17 games. So they're on better pace. They just got to keep up the work. But the red zone offense, and I'm not going to harp on that right now because it is a Monday. It's a victory. So we have all week long to break down the offense and figure out what's going wrong with that red zone offense. It just has to be better. Daniel Carlson, to his credit, 4 for 4 on field goal attempts. And A.J. Cole, he only punted twice, but they were really good punts. One went 57 yards, and the other punt was the last one, was down inside the Pats' 10-yard line. They fair caught it, and it was at the 9, and that's what helped lead to the safety that ultimately won the game. So A.J. Cole, averaging 51.5 yards a punt, did a really good job with the couple punts that he had on Sunday. So that's all I got for you for segment number 1 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. News and notes of the day. Segment number 2, we'll start handing out game balls, and we'll start to hear from some players in the Raiders locker room. We'll do that after we tell you about the title sponsor of the show, which is Gametime. And you shouldn't have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. And Vegas has tons of big events, right? If you ever come in here, you can go to a Raiders game. You can go to a Golden Knights game. You can go to an Aces game. Or you can go to something else that they have going on, which is always all kind of stuff. So if you're ever looking for those last-minute tickets to a show or something, Gametime is the way to go. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. And it's cool about Gametime. I mentioned the view from the seat. It's the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase because you actually can see the view from your seat before you buy. So you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Plus, all-in prices show your total up front. You know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. Buy tickets in seconds within 2 taps. Right now, download the Gametime app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I also want to tell you about PrizePicks. And if you don't know what PrizePicks is, it's the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Easiest and exciting way to play fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of you battling against players, pros, sharks, all those folks, it's just you against the projections. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. So, for example, you could have said, and I don't know if this was a projection or not, I'm just making this up, Devontae Adams is going to have 8 catches for 105 yards, and Josh Jacobs is going to run for 30 carries for 102 yards. And if you had picked less than that projection, you would be a winner. Just that simple. Again, you're not going up against me. You're not going up against anyone else. It's you versus projections. Just that simple. Plus, with the PrizePicks reboot policy, your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For NFL games and college football top 25 matchups, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, like a Jimmy Garoppolo, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with injury insurance. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Promo code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, Raider Nation, here we go. Segment number 2 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Want to take you inside the Raiders locker room. Want to hand out game balls at the same time. Always hand out game balls when the Raiders get a victory. And anytime it's a home game, I get to get inside the Raiders locker room. And when I get to do that, it's always great. I love being able to bring the instant sound from the players to the podcast, to the show. So had an opportunity to catch up with Adam Butler, Amik Robertson, Byron Young, Jacoby Myers, Josh Jacobs, Max Crosby, Michael Mayer, and Trayvon Merrick. All those guys in the Raiders locker room. Obviously, we're not going to get all of them on the show today. Maybe we'll sprinkle them in the next couple days. But we'll do these today. How we'll break it down today is the guys that get game balls will be the guys that you hear from. How about that? So offensively, we'll go ahead and give the game ball to Jacoby Myers. As a matter of fact, the Raiders gave a game ball to Jacoby Myers for his efforts. Again, 5 catches, 61 yards. He had the only touchdown for the Raiders on Sunday. And again, it was kind of a a nice moment for him, a little, going up against his old team, the team that decided not to give him a contract extension, instead decided to give Juju Smith-Schuster basically the same deal, and obviously that hasn't worked out very well for him. And then especially after what happened last year at Allegiant Stadium with Jakobi Meyers, I'm sure he felt a lot better on today than he did last year at this time because of what happened and the way that, he said, his words, not mine, he let his team down. So Jakobi Meyers, the only touchdown, 5 catches, 61 yards on the day. Got an opportunity to catch up to him in the Raiders locker room following the game. Check this out.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the guys in this room, we put a lot, not even to speak on the past, but, we feel like we gave a lot to that team also. So it was good seeing them players, man, good going against a team where we know we felt like we contributed and just getting a W against them. It felt good to a lot of guys.
Walk us through the touchdown.
I think they might have busted on that one. I ended up getting a one-on-one with outside leverage. I knew what he was trying to defend and decided to send him that way.
Julian Edelman has said that his ability to little help when it comes to making decisions in the offensive side of the ball. I'm not going to press you too much on it, but you can't help but notice what happened today.
I'm not even. I mean, as a guy who was with a lot of those guys, I know it's a lot of talent on that team. So I'm not even going to sell them out like that. Like, those guys who play football, I just feel like with a lot of change, they had a bunch of change in there on that team, period, over the last couple of years. So they just working through some things. And I ain't going to sit out here and just dump fire on them. You know what I mean? Like, they got game. They definitely got players. They just working through some stuff.
What was the mindset once you found out Jimmy G was going to be out?
I hope he's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of heard what he had going on, and I need to hit him up just to make sure he's good.
The emotional state going to the game, was it a little higher or lower, just kind of right in the middle of what you thought it would be?
More so in the middle, but it did creep up a little bit as game time came. You know what I mean? I was just excited. You know what I mean? I definitely was excited for just all of it, to see everybody, to play them. Because I've been in practice against them a lot, so just all of it, man. But I tried to stay in the middle the best I can.
What's been your impression of Michael Mayer this season, and I guess also today especially?
Did his thing, man. He's getting better and better every day. Every day, man. Soft hands, can run with the ball. He work hard every day. He come in, same guy every day. So I'm proud of him.
You see his confidence kind of developing a little bit? Or getting better?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, more plays you make, that's kind of how I go. You just finding your rhythm. And I feel like if we just keep pushing them forward, keep paying attention, you're going to be all right.
Did you get a chance to connect with Belichick and all that?
Nah, I ain't even get to see him, man. It's all good, though.
What was it like seeing the defense close it out again, second game in a row?
What, man? We need it, man. We need it because some of those times we probably had a chance to close out ourselves and we couldn't do it. And they came out and had our back, man. So it was a lot of things said about them earlier in the year, man. I just love for them to prove doubters wrong, man, and just go out there and be their best self.
You feel like they're getting close to that point? Not quite there yet, but feel like they're getting really close?
I'm hoping so, for sure. You know what I mean? I don't want to put a limit on them, but I do feel like they are getting better week in, week out. You know what I mean? We won, so I'm going to take it, for sure.
Thoughts on Ryan just coming in and then having that 48-yard bomb to Tracer, kind of shutting the crowd up a little bit? What do you think of that?
He dropped him on that one, for sure. He dropped him. That's a big-time throw, man, in a big-time situation. Like, that game meant a lot to him, too. Brian was with me over with the Patriots, too, so I understand what that moment meant to him, so I'm just happy for him, man. I'm happy that he got that chance.
And Jakobi, Michael Mayer had a big game. You've had some big games. Devontae has too. Do you feel like it's a matter of time before you all have a big game in the same game?
I feel like we still haven't played our best team football. You know what I mean? And I think every time we play a game, we inch closer to that, and we just trying to all put it out there at the same time.
We know you take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, but being 3-3 now, how does that feel? What does that mean to you right now?
You get a breath for the night, you know what I mean? But then we got to get right back on it, and we go in and watch that film and try to get 4-3. You know
feel like it's right there in the thick of things now?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We got a chance, you know what I mean? It's just how bad do we want it?
So you can hear the group of us right there talking to Jakobi Meyers, and, he said, 3-3 means that they have a chance. They have a chance, but how badly do they want it? I thought that was an interesting little nugget at the end there. How badly do they want it? That's got to be the challenge that every player and the coaches have to put on themselves moving forward. All right, you're back at 3-3. You're 3-3. You're squared up. You're 500. Now what? Right? How bad do you want to stay in the thick of things, right? It's going to take a lot of hard work, and they got to continue to improve. The defense has got to continue to improve, and the offense definitely has to continue to improve. But Jakobi Meyers, he gets a game ball for his efforts on Sunday. Definitely thought that he was a big-time player, and he's been a big-time player. He's been a really good signing for the Silver and Black. How about tight end Michael Mayer, a guy who had 5 catches at 75 yards on 6 targets, and he had 3 of those on the first drive. And then later on in the game, Brian Hoyer hit him with one. And he's a guy that not only when he catches the ball, he's got those soft hands, but man, he tries to run through you, right? I mean, he runs angry downhill, and that's what you want. He's a fun tight end to watch. It's taken him a while to get going, but I mean, you can see that the thing is starting to slow down for him. He's starting to get more confident. Matter of fact, a group of us got to talk to him following the game, and he was talking about that, the confidence, right? He's starting the game's starting to slow down to him a little bit. So that's a good thing. It's only going to get better from here, I do believe. So here's Michael Mayer in the Raiders locker room following the game.
What's it like when you get the catch and you make these after the first contact, you keep moving, you keep your legs going. What's it like on some of those plays, especially that 23-yard catch and run?
Yeah, I pride myself on it. I pride myself on not getting tackled by the first guy that's coming at me. Whether it can be a juke, a stiff arm, run him over, things like that, that's definitely one of the things I pride myself on. You know, the more you can do that, the more they're going to look to get you the ball, and the more Jimmy's going to trust me and Hoy's going to trust me and things like that. So it was great to be able to kind of get a chance to do that today.
When you're lighting up off tackle on either side, does it matter to you which side it is? Because you give so many different looks.
Yeah, I think our offense does a ton of different things, and I think the defense sometimes doesn't know if I'm, coming across and I'm running around here, my block down here. Like, there's so many different things that the tight end does in this offense, and it kind of confuses the defense a little bit, which is nice. So, I got no preference to whether it be on the left or the right.
What's it like not to be at 500 now?
Yeah, we just got to keep doing what we've been doing, keep stacking W's in the W column, and, really just come to practice every day, work, try to be the best players, try to be the best team, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
We're going to play in Soldier Field back to Chicago. What's that like to go back there in the fall of the year?
Yeah, I actually played there in college, Notre Dame, so it was a fun game. Played Wisconsin there, had a decent game, I think, and came out with the win. And I'm excited to go back there. Look, I'm from Northern Kentucky, right outside Cincinnati, and it's not too far. And I'm going to have some family members and some friends and stuff going up there for the game for sure.
So there is rookie tight end Michael Mayer, and, you can hear it in his voice that he just sounds way more confident than what he did early in the season and when he first got drafted. And, again, everyone's not going to pick it up immediately. It's tough to be a rookie in the NFL. It's tough to be a rookie tight end in the NFL, but he does sound more and more confident. And it looks like, more importantly, the quarterback, whoever it is, if it's Jimmy G or Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell, they have confidence in him as well. If they have confidence in him, they can get him the rock. And I think that Michael Mayer is going to be a big addition, and maybe he can start helping with the red zone struggles that the Raiders are on. And he's got to be a factor. Devontae's got to be a factor. Jacoby's got to be a factor. Hunter, I stopped even asking about Hunter just because I'm so confused by that situation. I'd be so shocked if he doesn't get traded, just because, he's virtually he's not being used anyway. He's basically on the back of a milk carton. So, I would not be shocked at all to see Hunter Renfrow get traded before that October 31st trade deadline. But coming up in segment number 3, I got more locker room sound. Got to hand out at least one more game ball for sure, and we'll get some more sound from the Raiders, and we'll look at the defensive side of things coming up in segment number 3, and we'll do that after I tell you about LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. Nobody likes hiring. That process stinks, but LinkedIn Jobs will help you do it in a major way. Post your job for free on LinkedIn Jobs, and then add the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile. That'll spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and who you'd like to hire. It's why small businesses rank LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hire versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find that qualified candidate you want to talk to faster. Again, post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Here we go, Raider Nation. Segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Time to take you back inside the Raiders locker room following their 21-17 victory over the Patriots. Want to definitely hand out a couple more game balls for the defensive side of things. Handed out 2 game balls in segment number 2 offensively, 1 to Jacoby Myers, 1 to tight end Michael Mayer. Now we've got to look at the defense. And really, this could be, I could just hand out 1 game ball to the defense and basically just say, hey, all you guys share it. Right? Because I think the defense did a hell of a job. Was it perfect? No. Is there still areas to grow? Absolutely. Right? But for the most part, I thought the defense did a really good job. And again, helping the Raiders have a chance to win and ultimately sealing the deal on the victory as well. So I guess with that right there, you got it at the game ball goes to Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols. They both had half a sack and a safety to seal the deal, to win the game. You can't You can't have that big play, that play that you have to have, right? And this is what I want to start seeing more from Max when it's that time when that big play has to happen. All of a sudden, he ends up being that game wrecker, right? And he's done a great job this year. He's had a fantastic season so far. I want to continue to see him grow, and I know he wants to continue to see him grow. So Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols, they combine for the safety, wins the game. But really, there's many people in the defense that should get some love. But here's Max Crosby in the locker room following the game.
As you're turning that corner, Max, to come in to help out on that safety, I mean, what are you seeing? Are you seeing anything, or is it all just a blur?
No, I see everything. I was very calm. The play before, we ran a game, and I came through clean, and they blew the whistle, so I was like, all right, I got to get I got to get home. And I seen Gesicki come over to chip, so I knew I had to beat him clean, and then it would have gave me a chance, to win on the edge. So, yeah, just we work it every single day. It's just regular routine, working my technique, getting off the ball and finishing, and that's what happened. And Bilal had a great rush as well. So, yeah, there's no better feeling. Closing the game out, we talked about it last week and the week before. Our defense, improving, and I think we're seeing that every single week. So it's good to see.
Is that your first safety in your career, like ever?
yeah, first one, felt great.
Is that like a dream scenario for a DN? Like you clinch the game with a game-winning safety kind of thing?
Yeah, it was an out-of-body experience. It was incredible. Every time I go out on the field, I want to be at the best I possibly could be at, and I was battling some things and banged up, but it doesn't matter. My guy stuck next to me. We fought through it. We found a way, and no better feeling than getting a win. Especially back to back, and now we're back to 500. So we got to go and get another one next week.
Fired up because of the way the delay of gameplay went the play before. What about? I know you picked up the penalty, the drive before they scored. Were you fired up because of that? You want another shot?
I'm not going to say. I can't even make a comment on that. But yes, I was fired up. No question.
Last week, the defense was, like you said something like we take it personal, all the naysayers and all of that.
No doubt.
So just wondering how much that has served as fuel for you guys this week.
Yeah, it's every day we walk out there together. We're getting closer and closer. We spend a ton of time together. We go to dinners together every week. And we see everything. So at the end of the day, this defense, you see it every single week, and we're not there yet. It's a constant, never-ending process of improvement, but we're working towards that every single day, and you see it every time you step in the building. So it's a direct result when we get out there on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays, and we just got to keep improving every way we can.
Max, 2 straight wins, a 3-3 record. You guys probably haven't come close to throwing your best punch yet. How encouraging is that there's still a ceiling for this team to get to in terms of putting together a great performance?
Yeah, no matter win or loss, regardless of the fact you never got it. That's something I got from Gus Bradley, and it's the absolute truth. The second you think you got it in this league, that's when you're going backwards. So, it's huge to get a win. We're super fired up about it, but we got to enjoy this, and then tomorrow we're right back to it. I know myself, I'll start watching tonight and get right back to it, and recovery already started, and I got in the tubs already. It's every single day, and that's what it's required. So I just try to get my guys with me and keep improving. So it's super exciting to get the win, especially at home again. I know the fans love it, so we just got to keep going.
Last year, so much of the conversation was about this team just not getting it done in one-score games. Now you guys have the evidence of back-to-back weeks. Do you feel a tangible shift in those clutch moments that you guys are making now?
Yeah, I just feel like we're bonded, closer. When you have guys all on the same page on the same mission, we don't panic. I got the penalty. They end up scoring the next play. I felt like I let my team down, even though I thought, whatever I thought about the call. And then, I told the guys, every single one of them, I'm like, I got y'all, just watch this. And that was simple as that. And, they were like, bro, don't worry about it. Go get it next play. And, that's what it's all about. I got great teammates. We got great dudes in this locker room, and that's all you can ask for.
Max, along those lines, Amik, there's a penalty, but very next play, sack.
Yeah.
Moving forward, not letting one bad moment turn into 2 bad moments. How important is that?
Yeah, it's everything. In this league, it's the next play. You can't worry about the last play and let it affect the next 3. It's simply good or bad as a result. You either have a win or a loss. You could have a neutral, rep, but at the end of the day, you got to just go to the next snap. You can't be worried about the one before or the one after. You just got to be locked in and be present. And I think that's the most important thing, in football. And that's what's helped me, continuously take, steps forward is not getting too emotional, not too high, not too low, just staying even-keeled and just improving every way on every down.
How hard then, Max, is it, or how easy would it be to compartmentalize? You guys got to focus on what you got to do defensively, but when your quarterback leaves at halftime?
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea until I got back out of the tunnel. I was dealing with some stuff with my leg, but I went out there and they're like, Jimmy's down. He's dealing with something. So, for us as a defense, we talk about it, but it's we want to be the reason we win the game. And no matter what, obviously, Jimmy's our brother. We're praying for him, and hopefully he's all good. But yeah, you got to go out there and go win. So it's simple as that. We went out there and we did that. So we're excited about it.
Max, you're playing at such a high level. Does it feel like, I know they usually say this in other sports as well, that you're in the zone? Does it just feel like that right now? I mean, you're rocking the Bobby Boucher jersey, and quite frankly, that's how you've been playing.
Tim Grover talks about it all the time. He's like, the great ones, the Kobes, the Jordans, they're always in the zone. And whatever that is, whatever I got to do to get to that, by game day, that's what you have to solve, to stay at the top and be at the highest level. And for me, I'm constantly searching, to be in the zone at all times and, practice, weight room, and then directly, obviously, on Sundays when I'm out on the field. So, you're in the zone. It comes from preparation and just mental strength and mental, fortitude to be consistent with everything you do in preparation, leading up to it. So, for me, the mental is just as important as the physical, and I definitely, believe, I definitely have room to grow in every way, and that's what I'm searching for every day. No matter the result, you can get pats on the back, you can get slander, but at the end of the day, you got to show up the next day and you got to improve. So that's my approach every day.
I got to ask where you got that Bobby Boucher jersey from.
The Bobby Boucher?
Yeah. Did someone give it to you? Or?
No, I was in Boston with Dana White this offseason, and I seen the jersey up on the wall, and I got the Bobby Boucher, obviously, and I got a few other ones, but it was a must grab. I haven't seen an actual stitched jersey like that, so I had to get it.
So there it was right there, Max Crosby following the game in the Raiders locker room. He definitely gets a game ball. He's always bringing the heat. Always bringing the heat. Good to see that the Raiders are starting to get some pressure from the interior as well, the defensive tackle position. And one more game ball that I want to hand out to is Trayvon Merrick. And, I mean, it could have been not necessarily even a game ball, but just a hell of a job, right? And we got a chance to catch up with him in the locker room following the game. So want to let you hear from him real quick, just a couple minutes from Trayvon. But had another interception. Seems like he's making play after play after play. Each of the last few games, handful of games, seems like he's getting more comfortable out there and things are starting to slow down for him. We talked about Michael Mayer getting things slow down. It looks like things are slowing down for Trayvon Merrick as well. Here he is in the locker room talking about his interception and talking about the Raiders' victory.
Could you walk us through your interception there?
I was playing middle of the field. I was reading the quarterback, saw it overcoming through the middle, and thankfully he overthrew it. I was right there to take it, so that's kind of how that went down.
It kind of starts up front, though. They rush the passer and they put pressure on him. Are you guys thinking about those things?
Rush and coverage work together. So, if they're doing their job up front, it makes our life easier, vice versa. So, we preach that every week, and we did a good job of that today.
Did you feel like you almost had a house call there?
Man, every time.
Like a block away?
Every time, yeah. I didn't even see the guy come. I mean, obviously, he came behind me, but after I made Mac miss, I thought it was, green field, nothing but open field, so yeah.
Talk about the complementary football on the team. How much is the guys up front kind of helping you guys in the backfield do what you do?
Just like I said, rush and coverage works together. If they're getting pressure up front, make the quarterback move around, it makes our job easier on the coverage end. So,
how good does it feel for the defense to close out another game, two games in a row now?
It feels good. That's like I said before. That's what we preach. Just to come from practice, working hard, just preaching turnovers, preaching negative plays, and then to have that happen, in the game is just, really exciting.
I feel like you're getting close to where you guys need to be.
Yeah, we're still working. We had a good game today, but like I said, we're still working, coming to practice with the mindset of, just improving every week.
Is it kind of a little bit of an exhale now that you guys are 3-3?
Nah, I wouldn't say it's an exhale. You know, we still got to keep our foot in the gas because, you know, any game is you can win or lose. So we just got to keep going, man.
On a personal standpoint, it seems like you're making a big play just about every game out there. Year 3 now. Is this the most comfortable you felt? Is this the most tangible? You feel a tangible difference on the field?
I mean, I feel comfortable. I'll say that. You know, I wouldn't say I got it all figured out. Still got a lot of room to improve, but I'm definitely feeling good back there. And it comes from, you know, my coaches and then my teammates around me. So.
I know we talk about Max Crosby a lot. I mean, does anything he does ever surprise you guys now at this point?
No, not at all. I mean, that dude's a beast. I mean, you see it every week. You can see how he practices, how he carries himself. So, no, it doesn't surprise me how he ended the game.
So there it is. There it was. Trayvon Merrick, another interception. The Raiders are now up to 5 interceptions on the season and up to 13 sacks. So hats off to Max Crosby, Bilal Nichols, Trayvon Merrick, all guys that got game balls here in segment number 3 of today's Locked On Raiders podcast. Again, remember, we talked to Adam Butler, Meek Robertson, Byron Young, Jacoby Myers, Josh Jacobs, Crosby, Michael Mayer, and Trayvon Merrick. So we'll get some more sound coming up on tomorrow's show. We'll also hear from head coach Josh McDaniels. We'll talk to him at 10:30 this morning. Plus, we'll have maybe an update on Jimmy G, so some more news and notes. Have plenty of conversation as well. So that'll come up on Tuesday's show. So Raider Nation, until then, take care of yourself, take care of your family, love on your family. Most importantly, as always, just win, baby.